We'll be right back up here at this altar here shortly. Before we get into that, I just want to kind of lighten the mood a little bit. You know, what the world doesn't understand, that there are forces at work that we cannot see. And it takes a while to figure a way to maneuver around it and be able to, you know, not let those forces that we can't see stop us. But anyway, we've got a clip of how this works, if you'll play it real quick. Where is it? Play it again. Nothing. I'm in serious trouble. The thing that I look like is when she just, I don't know what, that thing that she can't see that tripped her. She turned around, she went, look backwards like, what was that? I was in Greg's office when he got the that, and Greg fell out of his chair and onto the floor, laughing. And it's one of those things that every time you look at it, the funnier it gets. It's just. I mean, that's going to go viral. I'm telling you. There you go. Calling those things that be not as though they were. The only reason I showed y'all that is because Ginger wasn't in town to stop me. That's okay. I can live with it. Well, oh Lord, that was funny. It is. If you can't laugh at yourself, my gosh, you have no sense of humor. Yeah, I know something like that's going to happen to me, and it's going to be up here on the screen on a Sunday morning. Yeah. I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm third generation Navy. My grandfather, he was a baker in the Navy, and he did 7 around the world cruises. And during the Korean War, my father was in the Navy, and I was in the Navy. They had much more dangerous jobs than I had, but but I'm third generation Navy, and so I'm a huge fan of history and naval history, and a big SEAL fan. I had 2 buddies that went through SEAL training, and made it, and you know, the jobs that they do, it just amazes me. It's some of the things that they can do, and so I'm going to take a Navy SEAL quote. All right? Out of every 100 men, 10 should not be in combat. 80 are just targets. 9 are real fighters. But that 1 is a warrior. 1 out of 100. That's their attitude. They feel like they are the 1 out of 100, and they are. And you know, a warrior. People don't understand the full meaning of the word. A warrior, against all odds, is still going to go in and fight. It doesn't matter. They don't worry about their lives. They worry about the lives of their team or the people that they're representing. That's what they do. That's what a warrior does. They're going to fight till their dying breath. And Greg came up here and he started talking about, we're looking about where we're going and not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be warriors in the army of God. And the problem is we've got a lot of conscientious observers. And it's just not the right thing to do. We're not a stay-at-home, do-nothing church. I get that. But there's still a next step. There's still further than we can go. We've got there's a lot of things that we need done. We need that building emptied out. We need everything in that thing gone so that we can start to build. I want this to be part of that food bank. I want to remove that middle part of that wall right there. We need the space. Jessica is just killing us here, But it takes warriors to get things done. The Apostle Paul was a warrior. Never once saw Jesus face to face. Didn't matter. What's the difference in Paul and you? We all begin with the same measure of faith. But we have to learn to become. Look at Joshua. We got the first chapter. I'm going to read this. This is the only thing I can find out that I could read that compared God's inspiration for you to be a warrior. He's talking to Joshua. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spoke to Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' assistant, saying, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise and go over this Jordan, you and all these people, to the land which I am giving to them, the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot will tread upon, I have given to you, as I said to Moses. Everywhere you walk, it's your ground. It's your ground. Doesn't mean there's not going to be a fight. From the wilderness and this Lebanon as far as the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites and the great sea, toward the going down of the sun shall be your territory. In other words, as far as you can see, it's yours. Wherever you walk, it's yours. Wherever you go, it's yours. No man shall be able to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so will I be with you. I will not leave you nor forsake you. Man. Go to 7. Here we go. Only be strong and courageous, that you may observe to do according to the law which Moses, my servant, commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right hand or to the left, that you may prosper wherever you go. In other words, if you're strong and if you're courageous, if you're a warrior, and you do all that you're supposed to do, wherever you step, you're going to prosper. You're going to do well in life because you represent something that somebody else. You represent a God that other people just acknowledge they don't represent. There's a big difference. Go to 8. The book of the law shall not depart from your mouth. You shall meditate it day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written. For then you will make your way prosperous, and then you have good success. 9. Here we go. I have not commanded you, being strong and of good. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid nor dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Now, he goes on and says the same thing again a little bit further down in the chapter. He says, be strong, be courageous. I'm with you. Wherever you step your foot, I've already stepped there. It's yours. I've given it to you. I mean, why is the church not walking in the promises of God? Because they're not brave enough. They're not warriors. They sing about heaven. They sing old songs about going to heaven. I mean, it's a cycle that never breaks. Man, I went back to my home church not long ago, and for a funeral. I just walked around and looked, it's so small, so little. I thought it was bigger than that. I really did. And everything in it was the exact same thing. They even had the same hymnals from when I was a kid. I was like, my gosh. How did I serve? No wonder I had to, God had to ship somebody in to get me saved. My gosh, what's going on? I mean, it's just crazy to me. But anyway, when I did get saved, God gave me a vision and it would not leave. And I'm telling you, some of you, maybe, God gave you a vision of what you're supposed to do the day you got saved, and you know what? It's still there. You're just learning to live without having to answer the call. I know. I ran from God for a long, long time. But people tell, well, I'm not hearing from God. What's the last thing He told you? Complete it, He'll tell you something else. It's just that simple to me. And so, but when I got saved, God placed in me a desire and gave me a vision that I was going to preach all over the world, and I was going to go where there wasn't doctors, and I was going to bring healing. That was the vision I had. And you know what I did? Man, I prayed up. I stayed in the Word. I did everything I was supposed to do, but I was still in Castor, Louisiana. In other words, you can have a great praise and a great worship and a great prayer and a great word and still not accomplish jack. That's just the way that it is. You have to go to where the vision has in life and whatever. I looked at Justin Lee. This guy's wanted to work in a graphic design. He went to school to do it. He went with me to Africa. If I need something done, he'll do it. And now he's going to be working in Ruston, I think, at graphic design. I mean, he pursued. He didn't stop pursuing, even though he was working for a paint company. He didn't see himself as somebody that worked in a paint company. He saw himself as a draftsman. He saw himself as a graphic designer. That's what he saw himself as. And he didn't stop when the doors got shut, did you? There was a lot of them shut for him. But you know what? He was still faithful. He was still in His Word. He was still doing everything he was supposed to do. And he did not give up on his dream. He did not give up on his vision. And now he's doing what he's supposed to do. That's wonderful. Because I was beginning to worry about it. No, I'm joking. Oh, are you still in last place? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna be down there pretty close to the bottom myself after today, I'm afraid. But anyway, I was full of the Word. I was full. But you know what? I couldn't get to where I was going. I could not get there. And then there's some people that they want to do everything. They have a desire to do it, but you can't pour out from an empty cup. You can't pour from an empty vessel because they're not full of the things of God. They can't pour out and go and do the things that you can do, that I can do. I can go. I was in the south end of Lake Victoria, which is the largest lake in Africa, to a town called Mwanza. I've been there 5-6 times. And in Mwanza, there is a place called Leper's Alley. Leprosy is still pretty prevalent in Africa. And so I just went down there and started praying for people. Why? Because that's a vision that God gave to me years earlier. Those people didn't have doctors. People were still saying they're unclean. If you ever been around lepers, they're pretty nasty. It's pretty bad. You know, we read about it and all of that stuff, but it's actually it's bad. It's as bad as it gets. And but I was doing what God had shown me that I was going to be doing years earlier. You following me? Okay. It's Stephen and Megan are getting married. When? Okay, y'all come up here. I want to show y'all something. I want to show you something. See, I want to use an illustrated sermon because Megan said that she was sick of the same old monotonous stuff. So, all right, you're getting married Saturday. All right, what we're going to do is this. Y'all are not going to get married. And I'm going to go to a wedding Saturday. I got to go to a wedding after y'all are supposed to have your wedding. So I'm just going to take pictures of that wedding, and I'm going to give them to y'all, and y'all can look at them. It'll be just like they're getting married. And then when Ginger and I go on our anniversary, y'all don't go on a honeymoon because you're not married. You're just watching marriage, right? So Ginger and I are going to take pictures walking on the beach, and Ginger's going to take all the pictures of food we eat and everything, and I'm going to show them to you. And it's going to be just like marriage, right? No. You can't. We can hear about it. We can read about it. We can see pictures of it. But until we do it, we're just eyewitnesses to what they're doing. You can sit down. I just want to bring you up here for that. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing in the church. The church sits back and watches the world. They're looking at 2020 like it's the end of the world. In 2020, what happened? People died. People went broke. Lost their jobs. A lot of bad things happened in 2020. But don't treat 2021 like it's the rapture, because it's not. Oh. Hey. You know what the worst thing about 2020 was? People quit going to church, and it was cool. Christians got safe. Warriors are not safe. Warriors are out there on the front line every day. They're always fighting. They don't do the safe thing. Y'all heard Dr. Rob say in January, that's been almost a year ago. He said, if you take the word safe and apply it to the Bible, there is no Bible. It's the truest statement I've ever. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You know, because we're reaching more people online that they're seeing pictures of church. Like we're seeing pictures of a wedding. When the devil has used a virus that's got a 99% rate of not dying, survival rate, he's taken that and he's brought the church to its knees. Man, I talk to pastors all the time. They're going, man, people aren't coming back. People aren't coming. I said, well, quit whining about it. You told them they didn't have to come. The largest church in the state of California, about 6 weeks ago, he got in the pulpit and he said, I want you to forgive me. I'm repenting because we never should have shut our doors. Now the governor of the state of California says, hey, no church. Let's see. Let's see who does. Because they could do it here tomorrow. But you know what? I'll still be right here. I may be in cuffs, but I'm going to be right here. Let me tell you what. It's just crazy that we're supposed to be warriors for Christ, and we sit back on the sidelines and watch church and think that's what it is. It's crazy to me. It's just, I don't know why. I just can't get that out of. The church operated out of fear, and the fear didn't drive them to Christ, it drove them away from Him. But twice a week during the height of that thing, we were right out there doing what we do. We were feeding Webster Parish. We were feeding the surrounding area. We were feeding everybody we could because people were losing their jobs. They were losing their houses. They were losing left and right. But we made sure that they were fed. And then it got put on Fox News, and then all kind of stuff started. God just started bringing in more and more and more, and because the need was so great, God just wanted warriors that go out there and say, you know what, I'm not going to run from the fire, I'm going to run to it, because there's people in there that I can pull out. And that's what a warrior does. That's what we should desire to do for ourselves. Oh. Do you want to know what real, I'm going to tell you a story that actually happened. It's just as true as that great clip we saw a minute ago. Just as real. Me and Jack Daniels and a couple other guys were riding motorcycles. We all had Harleys at the time. And we're driving along. We come where the Bonnie and Clyde, you know where the Bonnie and Clyde marker is? Where Bonnie and Clyde got killed? Between Mount Lebanon and Castor there. It's, we pulled up, there was two outlaw bikers there. They were Sons of Silence, was their name. And they were rough. And so Jack, being an evangelist, he can't help it. Just can't help it. Can't help himself. Did you know, he said, I was facing 25 years in federal prison, blah, 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 blah. And Jesus just pulled me out of that thing. Now I give my life to him. God said, don't talk to me about Jesus, you understand? He said, me and the man upstairs, we okay. When they say that, it means they're not okay. If you refer to the creator of the universe as the man upstairs, you got a serious problem. If you don't know him like I know him. And so Jack said, well, let me ask you a question. If you were to die right now, where would you spend eternity? Guy said, man, I told you everything was cool. And if you say another word, I'm going to beat you down all over this road out here. I forget the gravel. And you know what Jack did? He said, you didn't answer my question. That's somebody that's a warrior. That's somebody that has no regard for their own safety or their own life. They know that the king is still the king and they're representing him, and they're going to do whatever they got to do to get somebody else into the same kingdom they're in. That's what a warrior does. That's what we've got to do. We've got to get to that point where we don't think about us. Christianity is not about you. It's about those that are not Christian. Why do you think that God brought you in and is saving you from hell? Because you're so special? No, He needs you on the team. He needs you doing the job. He needs you to be a warrior for Him. He needs you to go out there and fight the good fight every single day, no matter how you feel. No matter how prayed up you think you are, no matter how down you think you are, you're still in the fight. And you're still not going to quit. That's what God's called you to. He's not called you to mediocrity. He's a big God with big ideas, and He's not going to give you something small. You may start with something small, but you're not going to end up there. unless you choose to just sit back and sing about how good heaven is and how, and, nah, everybody, this is good. Let's just change gears for a minute. There's never been, now recorded in the Bible, there's never been a person that Jesus touched that he didn't change their entire life. But you walk down the road, sees a funeral procession, and there's a young boy that was dead. He just went and got him, raised him from the dead at his own funeral. He touched him. Jairus' daughter, same thing. Let's just think about who the four dudes, man, that took off the roof. Same thing. Name something else. The madman of the Gadarenes, or whatever it's called, where he cast the devils into the pig and the pigs ran off. The guy said, I want to go with you. And Jesus said, no, you're going to go to Decapolis. What does Decapolis mean? Decapolis is 10 cities. That guy started a revival in 10 cities. Because everybody knew who he was. And he knew that only a God, that God could do that. Everybody Jesus, and sometimes when Jesus didn't even touch them, when the woman with the issue of blood just went and touched his clothes, something dramatic changed. Changed her life forever. So what I'm telling you is this. If you want to be a warrior, you have to be touched by Jesus. You can't do it without that. You've got to know that how special that Jesus is and how special that He thinks you are, so that He put His Spirit into your body, and you would be the presence carrier of the Most High God. That's what He thinks of you. We all have the ability to do the same thing the Apostle Paul did. But we have to get that touch from Jesus. And then we have to take that touch and give it to everybody we can. That's why He said, these signs shall follow them that believe. He didn't say they'd find the ones that believed in Jesus. You got to believe that within you, the power to heal, the power to deliver. T.L. Osborne, man, I love the man, but he said the most, people that wouldn't know him, would think he's arrogant the way he talked. Like Philip said, every time he got off a plane and somewhere, he'd say, poor devil, it's going to be a hard day. He just knew he had authority over that stuff. He knew everything that he had authority over and practiced it on a regular basis. It's just crazy to me. He was so good. But he believed this. He'd say this. And people look at him like, say, if you can get to me, you can get to heaven. If you can get to me, you can get healed. The problem is getting to me. Do you have the faith to come get to me? With no help. You got to come to me, and I promise you're going to get it. And people were crawling, but you know what? By the time they got to that podium, they were healed. He knew how to activate that, because he knew that the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords lived in him. He had a revelation of that. And that's what we've got to get a revelation of. The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords has chosen your body to carry His Spirit and His power, His authority. He's given it to us. Why are we not doing more? I'm not getting on you guys. I'm just trying to inspire y'all to do more. I'm not trying to say we're not doing enough. I'm just trying to say it's never enough. Another thing you have to do, I thought I put this in my notes, but I don't guess I did. Yes. You have to find people that are going to take you to another level and not less, more. Jesus took 12 disciples and 11 of them changed the world. They hung out together. They were on a 3.5-year road trip. You know, that's just what it was. It was just traveling. I was like I said earlier, man, I was all fired up. Just got saved. Nobody believed me. Everybody thought I was crazy, and it hadn't changed much. But even more so then. But man, I was ready. I was full of the Word. I was full of the Spirit. I was prayed up, and I was still in Castor. And I went to, somebody said, hey, I've reserved you a ticket on the front row. Kenneth Copeland's going to be there. And they started naming off all these big name speakers. So I went, man, and I sat on the front row. Right there. They were spoon feeding me the gospel, man. I was taking so many notes. And then this one guy gets up who I had never heard of before in my life. And he starts preaching. And God spoke to me and said, that's the guy you need to follow. I've never even thought about following a man before. Not once. And I said, okay. So after the service, I said, do you know anybody that knows that Rob Carmen guy? You know? The guy said, well, I know him. And it was Glenn Rogers from Mansfield. And I said, I know him well. He said, you want to meet him? I said, yeah. And the rest is history. He taught me everything. He took me to the world. He showed me that you have to bring Jesus the same way everywhere you go, but you have to adjust that to a culture. He said, in the church, you have to create a culture. You're not trying to build a church. You're trying to create a culture where you're going to draw people that are like-minded that'll get things done. And that's what we've done. That's what we've done. We're not here with a building program. We've done absolutely nothing like regular churches do. Have y'all ever noticed that? Absolutely nothing. And it's on purpose. But God just starts blessing it and blessing it and blessing it. There's a pastor in here during the week and said, man, look at all the space. Look at all the space y'all got. Look at this. Look at that. You know, and y'all got for $1 a year for 30? Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. And it just doesn't sound right. Well, I'll put it to you like this. I don't know enough of another one. But we served faithfully where we were, and we fed the people, and we fed them the gospel, we fed them food, we fed them whatever we had to do. And then God said, you know what, y'all are doing so much, I'm just going to give you a whole building. I'm going to give you a whole campus so that you can get done what needs to be done in Minden, Louisiana. And Paul, you're going to stay on the airplane. You know, last year I had 92 hours of layover. This year, airports are scared too. I had to go to Mexico. It's a 3.5 hour flight. It took me 22 hours to get there. And then got caught in a hurricane. Only me. God will put you in position. He'll put you in line with the people that are going to take you to the next level. Rob showed me the world. TL showed me how to bring out that healing gift that God had placed in me. And it was just craziest thing. And neither one of them knew what was going on, really. I was preaching to a tribe in the South Pacific. That's what it was. It was a tribe. They're all naked, and it was the craziest thing you ever seen. But, you know, that's what Sandra Sanford said. She said, I'll draw the line at preaching to naked people. Just can't do it. I said, after a while, you get used to it, you know. And so, these people were hungry for God. They were hungry. And man, I preached, and when I got finished preaching, Rob grabbed me and he said, this is what you're made for. You know, I was so pumped up. And then, I was in, where were we? Somewhere in West Africa. One of them little countries over there. Benin, Togo, Ghana, one of the three. And TL grabbed, people were getting healed left and right, and TL grabbed me and said, this is what you were made for. The exact same thing. And those are the things that God showed me at the beginning that I was going to be doing, but I was still stuck in Castor. I was still seeing pictures of what was going on in other nations. I was seeing pictures of what was happening. I wasn't a part of it. It was time to take action. What did I do? I said, you know what? I want to be a warrior. I don't care what anybody says about me from this moment on. If they talk garbage about me, talk trash about me, it's going to be because I'm doing something. I may be doing it wrong, but I'm going to be doing something. And that's the attitude that Christians have to have today. There's a job to do. Let's get started. Let's be the ones that get out in the front. Let's be the ones that Jesus touched, and let's be out the ones who go out and touch people. Let's go get this thing done. That's my entire message in my life. It's pretty simple. Don't waste time. It's the only thing you can't get back. You can lose money, but you can get it back. You can lose your wife, but you can get it back. Once time leaves, it's gone. And you are absolutely zero good. Listen to me. People get mad when I say this, but it's true. You are of zero importance to the kingdom of heaven when you're there. Once you die, you can't do anything for the kingdom. You got your time here. You got it right now. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. Man. If there's nothing that you get out of today, it's that. If there's one thing that you get, it's that. I wasted 37 years of my life. And when I got saved, I said, I'm not wasting another minute. I should have been doing this all along. I knew I was called. I knew I was running from God. You know what? It was like spitting in it. After I got saved, it was like I'm spitting in the face of God for all those years. I just, where would I be now if I'd have started when I was supposed to? I wasted my time. I chased a dollar. Caught a lot of them. But then, once I got saved, Jesus said, give everything you got away. And I did. He said, now I'm going to show you how to do it the kingdom way. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I forgot to. The church needs a touch from Jesus. And Jesus is trying to reach out, and the church don't want it. The church wants a Thomas touch. A Thomas touch. I'll believe it when I see it. They pray for a revival and they'll book a guy a year in advance, and it's the same old guy doing the same old message, as Megan calls them, turn and burn sermons for a week. And 20 or 30 people will come down and get saved, and the next year they'll come down and get saved again. Because after a couple of months, they've just gone. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't have to explain this, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Oh, there There's over 70 people got saved the week that I got saved. I'm the only one serving. No, there's 2 of us that are still serving God. I wasn't saved in a church service, but I was saved during that week. And Jack was dying. I went in to see him. He said, "There's my fruit that remains." The only one that it took hold of. I thought that was, anyway. Where am I at? The church as a whole has lost its ability and reach out and touch the world. Why? Because they don't crave it. They don't really want. They just most churches don't want to change the world. They just want their little bubble to stay safe in. Come on, y'all know I'm right. If you don't believe I'm right, remember they quit having church to stay safe. When the world needed the church the most, the church shut down and went with the world. And it's coming again. You think this is the last? This is just the first. It's going to get worse. And the church has to get better or we're going to fail humanity. When the world turns to the church and the church says, "All right, here's the answer. God's bigger than this thing." We're living proof of it. I tell you what, I'm going to just close in a minute. Once you've been touched by Jesus, you want everyone in the world to have what you have. But then as time goes on, you don't remember what you were delivered from because you're living life. So that excitement's not there anymore. And some people, it just gets further. They get further and further and further and further away from God. And hey, I've been guilty of this myself. You get further and you quit telling people what God did for you. The Revelation, I think it's 12:11, says they overcame Satan by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. Is that the right scripture? No. Teen Challenge ladies, they know. By the word of their testimony. You know, if you want Jesus to touch somebody, tell them how He touched you. Just tell them. So there's 2 things. 1, you got to be touched by Jesus. And 2, you got to be around people that are going to take you to the next level. If you can get those 2 things done, you can fight like a warrior. You're going to have people on your side. You're going to be loyal to them. They're going to be loyal to you. Let me tell you what, I'm the most loyal guy in the world. I will go through hell for you people. You've never met anybody more loyal than me. Never. Rob Carmen said it. I mean, and if anybody says anything about Rob Carmen, I hit them in the mouth first and ask questions later. You think you don't believe me? I don't care how big they are. I'll send Angel on them. She'll do a body slam. That's still okay. I'm serious about this. There's a loyalty with believers. When you're part of a bond, when you fight together, there's a bond that can't be broken. And that's a bond that we're looking for. We've got that bond with Jesus. We got to have that bond with each other. And in other words, and the only way to do that is to fight together for a common cause. You got to go through the bad stuff. You know, when there's if somebody that's having a hard time, your tribe, they need to be the one that lifts them up and carries them. If you don't have a tribe, good chance are you're not in the kingdom. I didn't say that you are. I'm just saying there's a pretty good chance. Because the Bible teaches over and over, as iron sharpens iron, men sharpen men. And in other words, Jesus went out and said, okay, I've got to change the world. I need some help. I'm going to go get this fisherman guy who likes to cuss and fight. I'm going to go get him, Peter. You know, I'm going to go get the tax collector that nobody likes. You know what? If I show him some grace, that guy's going to be loyal. If I can look at the way that Jesus chose his disciples, that we name our kids after today. You need to choose your tribe well. Amen. Anyway, let's stand to our feet. I'm running out of time. I got a bunch more to say, but I guess y'all don't want to hear it. Time to go home. There's some of you just need a touch. Just need a touch from Jesus. That's it. That's all you need. And if you want that, come down right now, and I just want to pray over you. If you don't, stay where you're at. If you need a touch from Jesus, let me tell you what. Count to 5. If you're not down here, that's cool. You can go home. The rest of you, 1.